my name is Tanya Andrassi Beniquez. I am one of the digital media coordinators at the Center for Online and Continuing Education. I've been working in media production for about 6 years since I graduated from FAU with a multimedia degree in 2015. And I love creating instructional media, and I'm looking forward to talking about it with you guys today. I actually wanted to start the presentation with a question. The presentation is Introduction to Instructional Media, and I want to ask a preliminary basic question. What do you guys think media is? And then the second question is, why do you think we should use media for instruction? So let's start with, what do you all think of when I say media? And there's some hints in my icons. So Nicole Alfred said videos. That is definitely an example of media. Mark said video and audio. So video and audio are both examples of media. Today, the goal of this presentation, we will learn what high quality instructional media is. We will learn different examples of media types, and we will expose you to different resources and some tips and tricks for creating videos. Video is an example of media. Audio is an example of media. An infographic is media. A book is media. Any printed materials are media, because media actually means a medium of communication. And we're going to get a little bit more into that in a couple slides. But I want to, before we move on, I want to ask, what do you think of when I say instructional media? Lectures. So Nicole thinks of lectures when I say instructional media. So lectures, obviously, in face-to-face traditional courses, you guys give lectures very often. So you're all very familiar with that environment. So when you are face-to-face, you actually use media quite often, because you use printed materials, you use visual information, you sometimes use videos in your courses and put them up on the projector. And there's other examples of media as well, such as recording your video lectures, recording a podcast, or creating an interactive media object, a digital object. And again, media means a medium of communication. And at its best, media communicates complex ideas in a short period of time to a large amount of people. And I see we have another comment in here. Mark says PowerPoints are media, online and asynchronous or synchronous videos are media. And he is absolutely correct. So many of the professors that we have worked with have shared how creating instructional media and course designs with us has improved their process for their in-person instruction. And I want us to talk about, why do you think that is? Why do you think that preparing instructional media content has changed how some professors teach in a face-to-face classroom? The reason for that is that there's a lot of preparation that goes on in this department. It forces us to think through the learning objectives and develop strategies. Exactly. So when you are forced to prepare ahead of time, maybe a semester ahead of time, in order to create videos, right? You want to script your videos, and you want to know how many videos you're going to have in each module. All of that is a lot of pre-production or planning that happens. In video production, there's a process. There's pre-production, there's production, and then there's post-production. So for this professional development session, there was some pre-production. Before we all jumped on, I was sitting here with 2 other media assistants and with Dr. Judy, and we were preparing and planning this event. And last Friday, and last week I prepared this presentation. On Friday, I was working on this presentation. I was rehearsing what I was going to talk about, and all of that is considered pre-production, everything that happens before the actual recording of an event. And then this right now is the production. And then once this is done, we are going to save this video and edit it, and that's going to be post-production. We're going to publish it online. So when the faculty have experienced this process with us, it changes how they teach face-to-face, because it gives them the concept of pre-producing before a face-to-face lecture as well, which a lot of you do. You will plan, you will make plans and syllabuses for your courses, but it might not be as specific as it can get when you're planning to make an online course. So that which makes for a quality online course is also that which makes for a quality face-to-face course. I have a typo there, but it's what makes for a quality face-to-face course, which is preparation. So what is high quality instructional media? Instructional media that's high quality achieves its goal of implementing instruction and facilitating student achievement of instructional objectives. So high quality instructional media, as Mark mentioned in the chat, will always align with course objectives and assessments. That's what makes instructional media good quality instructional media, that it aligns with your course objectives and with your assessments. We have a quote here of what instructional media is by the University of New Mexico. Instructional media encompasses all the materials and physical means an instructor might use to implement instruction and facilitate students' achievement of instructional objectives. So I have an example for you. Let's say that your course is about how to make a pizza, and you're only going to assess your students on making a pizza for you in the classroom one day, and they have to follow a specific recipe and instructions for how to prepare it and then use specific ingredients for it. So let's say that I'm preparing this a lecture for this course, for this online course, or hybrid course, let's say, because they're going to make the pizza for me in the classroom, right? So let's say that I put in a lecture that's an hour long about the history of pizza and why pizza exists. That would be an example of adding instructional media that's not high quality for that course because they're not being assessed on the history of pizza. They're only being assessed on being able to make a pizza. So adding that content is not going to help them meet their learning objectives. And this is obviously like an oversimplified example. And there is, most courses are very complex and have lots of layers. So it's up to each subject matter expert, that's you as a faculty member, to decide, does this content actually help directly or indirectly help my students understand what it is that I am trying to get them to understand? Does it help them pass the test? Does it help them take away what I want them to and meet their objectives for this course in general? So again, how do I make instructional media? Rule number one is to be intentional. It's the only rule that I have on here. Be intentional. And how do you do that? You do that by writing a script or by maybe recording yourself on your cell phone or on your webcam, rehearsing what you want to say before you actually record a video for an online course. And again, media is video, PowerPoint, audio, infographic. Let's say that you're collaborating with COSI, the Center for Online and Continuing Education, and you're having the graphic team make an infographic for your course. You want to make sure that you pre-produce that infographic, that you sit down with the designer and that you guys talk about, is the information that we're putting in this infographic actually aiding in the student retention of the content that we want them to learn? Or is this kind of just like extra, right? And if it's extra and you want to add it to your course, maybe don't make it for an obligatory thing that they have to look at. It could be just an additional piece of content. You may find while you're rehearsing that you touch on or even elaborate on topics that are actually needed for that lesson. So that happened when I was preparing for this professional development session. I started recording myself on my webcam and I started going off on a tangent about something that I was like, you know what, I don't actually need to talk to them about this, maybe get so in depth about the production process. Like, I would just want to introduce them to this idea of pre-production, production, and post-production. I don't need to get into that too deeply for them to take away what I want them to take away. So it gives me the opportunity to catch myself doing that and fix it up and decide how I want to proceed when we actually do have the PD session. So you're also more likely to catch if you miss yourself talking about a subject that you really want to talk about, because maybe you have no assessments in a module for that assess them on. For instance, let's say it's a chemistry course and you are going to grade them on being able to tell you which equipment is needed for mixtures and compounds, right? And you have no assessments in that module for that. So maybe you should add some content about that shows them this is the equipment that you need for this lab. So maybe you record yourself rehearsing, or you just rehearse in front of a mirror and you realize that you didn't talk about that at all. It gives you the opportunity to catch that and add that to your lecture. And keeping alignment, making sure that any content that you're adding to a video or to an audio recording or to an infographic or to an interactive assessment is aligned with your assessments and your course objectives. And again, this extra time planning your video is called pre-production. So a common mistake is that a lot of faculty will record video lectures that are probably too long. Maybe your course needs an hour and 20-minute long video to actually get into the content and for the students to learn what they need to learn. In which case you have to gauge that and say, I need an hour and 20-minute long lecture for this module. And that's great. That's high quality instructional media. But maybe you could have actually cut it down to 45 minutes because you went off on a different subject that you're not going to be addressing in any of the exams. Or maybe you are, because you didn't pre-produce and rehearse before recording the lecture, you might have a lot of long pauses in this recording where you are figuring out what you want to say next. And that doesn't help the student engage with your content or help them do better on your tests, because there's a lot of extra stuff in there that is unnecessary for them to be spending their time on. So that's another thing to keep in mind. Extra tips and tricks. I have a video here. This is, so again, I want to say what makes high quality instructional media is not editing, it's not graphics, it's not text, it's not having it look great. It's the substance that makes for a good quality piece of instructional media, the fact that it aligns with your course content. However, if you want to take it to the next level, it does help your students to have a pretty decent quality piece of media. So let's say it's video. I took this video of my husband. I asked him, teach me how to kick a soccer ball.
Hello everyone, my name is Tim, and I'm going to teach you how to kick a soccer ball. There's two things to keep in mind. Making sure your planting foot, or the foot you're not kicking with, is next to the ball, and it's pointed towards the goal, or where you want to pass the ball. And to make sure your ankle for your kicking foot is locked, and it goes through the center of the ball. So when I do this, I want to make sure if I'm going to kick it towards the camera, I'm pointed towards the camera with this planting foot and kicking the ball with the inside of my foot right here, and the ball is going to be going through the middle of my foot, like so.
On the left-hand side, on the video on the left-hand side, you can see Tim teaching how to kick the soccer ball. There's no cuts, there's no text, right? And, or maybe actually I think it's the video on the right. And that's an effective video. He got to the point, but on the left-hand side video, you can see him explaining the same thing, but kind of zooming in so he can better see what he's describing, the area of his foot that he wants to use when kicking a soccer ball. There's some text that comes up so that you can remember the key points that you want to retain, and an extra shot at the end of just like him kicking the ball, right? So all those things can help spice up the video. And that's just something I recorded on my iPhone on Friday. I added some text and then I threw it into the presentation. So it can be quite easily done, but if you work with us, we can do stuff like that for you and even make it even fancier, right? In the meantime, I'm going to show you the difference between using your webcam or using a high definition video camera. So right now I'm using a high definition video camera in our studio, and you should just see me talking on our studio camera. Now I'm going to change it to the webcam, and now I'm recording on the webcam, and the quality is significantly lower. It doesn't mean that what I'm saying loses substance. It's just maybe a little blurrier, a little bit more uncomfortable to watch for a long period of time. So adding that high quality element through the camera can help retain your students' engagement with what they're watching, because it looks nicer to look at, right? So this is again me on the webcam versus me in our studio recording on our studio camera. So having the Center for Online and Continuing Education as a resource is helpful in that way. But you also have your iPhones, probably your smartphones, which record high definition video, very high definition video. You could record videos on your phone or record pretty good quality audio on your phone if you have a smartphone. and upload it to Google Drive and then get it on your computer that way. The good thing about the webcam is it's directly on your computer. So when you're done recording on webcam, it saves directly onto your computer. So it cuts that need to transfer footage over anywhere, right? But I think it's worth it to give your students that extra high quality when you can, right? So again, video editing, it's a service that we offer here. We can add graphics, we can add text to your videos, cuts, extra angles, maybe use 2 different cameras, add sound effects, music if it's relevant. And we use these methods in order to jolt the viewer back into attention so they don't doze off. It keeps the viewer engaged with your content, right? So, and it gives them that extra layer. So not only do they hear you giving a lecture in the video, they also see you. Not only do they see you and hear you, but they have text coming up on the screen that gives them the key points that you want them to take away. Not only do they have the extra text, but they have different angles of you, or they're seeing your screen and they're seeing you, and it gives them way more layers and ways of digesting the content, and it makes it more likely that they'll be successful in learning that content. So I was referring to that as a denser communication. There's more going on there, and it can help students who are audio learners, visual learners, all have the same opportunity to retain that information. And I just want to reiterate this and kind of really hone in on this. Although you can use graphics, audio, sound effects to communicate information, you can also just pre-produce a little bit to create the same benefits of having high quality instructional media. Pre-producing simply means planning, scripting your video, rehearsing. A little extra work in the beginning goes a long way, and it saves time for both the instructor and the student in the long run. Because if the student is not wondering, oh, do I need to study this? They talked about it in the video for 20 minutes. Do I need to study this for the test or not? Instead of distracting them with that information, their only option is to study things that they will be tested on so that they can be successful. And you can be successful at the same time. And we can eliminate them needing to email the professor so many questions about, hey, what should I be studying, blah, blah. Even though, of course, we want students to be engaged, it's good to give them that extra clarity. And the goal is to make the learning more effective. So again, like they can spend a little less time watching you perhaps gather your thoughts during a lecture recording. In a lot of the classrooms here at FAU, they are set up to record video, and it can record lecture content. The issue with that is that it is not as pre-produced, it is not as direct unless you make it an intentional effort to prepare for what that video is going to look like before you actually get in front of the cameras. And also there are students that raise their hands in classroom, or maybe their faces show up, and that does violate FERPA if you're going to be using that recording in other courses that those students aren't in. So, and what tends to happen with a lot of those lecture recordings is that we see the faculty kind of, figuring out where they want to go next, which can be very natural in a face-to-face, but it can be take a lot of time away during an online course. A lot of students that are taking online courses are doing so because maybe they're a working mom or they have 2 jobs, and we want to keep it as aligned with your content and cut down as possible. And they can properly use their time to study the content that aligns with their course. So resources, you have the Center for Online and Continuing Education, that's us. We offer high quality recording equipment, a controlled studio space, on location recording, which means we can take our cameras, mics, lights to your classroom or to another relevant location. We also have video editing, professional video editing, that is a huge benefit in viewer engagement. Closed captioning, which helps with accessibility, but it doesn't just help people who need it for accessibility purposes, it helps everybody, because some people maybe they just understand better when they can see what's being said. Storyboarding, so if you have a more creative idea for a video that is more involved, we can storyboard that video. we can plan it out. And I can show you an example of a storyboard and before we close out today. Captioning, storyboarding, media site. So everybody that had, all the staff, the faculty that have an fau.edu account, email address, have access to media site. You can record yourself, you can record your screen there, you can upload videos that are recorded on your camera phone or on your camera. You can make basic edits. You can even add assessment questions to the video, and it's pretty easy. And I'm going to show you guys a little bit of that today. So in summary, media is a medium of communication. You use this even in your face-to-face courses. High quality instructional media will facilitate student achievement of instructional objectives. Tricks that facilitate this achievement of instructional objectives include keeping your videos short and your media intentional in order to keep the viewers, the students, engaged with the content, staying on topic, preparing before you record, and having fun with it. Maybe you can work with us for a little extra glitz and glam with our studio, our lights, and our audio and our editing. I'm going to show you how you can add assessment questions in MediaSite, how to make a really quick edit in MediaSite, and how you can learn more about us and what we offer on our website. But before I get on with that, I want to open it up for any questions or comments.
So I'm wondering if we're about to record a series of instructional videos on a tablet, and it's statistics, so there's going to be use of a tablet pencil. I think I know the answer to the first question, which is, would it be smart, and I think I know the answer, to come in and have sort of a pre-recording meeting to kind of get aligned on what we're doing and the best way to do it. And then my second question is, when we're done, let's say with the first video, can that video then be edited, enhanced, etc., after the fact in conjunction with the support in your office?
Absolutely. So I would suggest if you are making an e-design with our department, you will always prepare for your media with us beforehand. But even if you're not creating an e-design with us, we can give faculty support. Our media team will give faculty support. We could set up a meeting where we can talk about the best approach to recording your media so that we can get it all done the most effective way, and make sure you have like the best apps that you would need for that.
Okay.
And then the second part of the question was, yes, we could also provide video editing for those videos as well. You could share them with us on Google Drive, and we can make edits and then put them on MediaSite for you or send them back to you through Google Drive. Welcome to how to record and make an edit on MediaSite. To record a video on MediaSite, you first want to go to canvas.fau.edu. Find your courses and search for My MediaSite. Once you find the My MediaSite course, you're going to want to select Canvas MDR tab on the left-hand side. Select the Canvas MDR tab. On the top right of the screen, you will have the option to add a presentation. Select Add a Presentation, Capture Video. You will now be prompted to give your video a name. Select Create and Launch. You will then get a pop-up asking you if you want to open MDR application. This is an application that I already have downloaded onto my computer. If you do not have this application downloaded onto your computer, you will be notified to download this application before you can proceed. You will then be given several options of how you would like to record, whether that be your screencast with just audio, your screencast with video, or just audio, etc. Once you have finished recording, it will appear under your My Presentations tab. When you're ready to make a video edit, click on the video that you would like to make an edit to. Select Edit Video on the right-hand side. When you're ready to make that cut, select the section of the video that you would like to cut. Click down using your mouse and drag the mouse while you are clicking down to highlight the section that you would like to cut out. Click Cut Time once you're ready to make that cut. When you preview your video and press play, it will skip over the part that you've cut. If you would like to remove this cut, you can just click undo. When you're ready to save your video, go to Save Video at the top left. You will get two options, either Save Video to Current or Save Video to New. I only get the option to Save Video to Current because I've already saved this video to a new presentation once before. Once you select to save your video, it will appear under your Video Save Jobs with a progress bar telling you how far along the progress is in saving that video. Once your video is saved, it will appear under your My Presentations tab in the My Media Site course. This is a video on how to add quiz questions to a media site video. First, you're going to want to go to your canvas.fau.edu page and select Courses. You're going to open the course called My Media Site. Once you're in My Media Site, you're going to select Canvas and VR. And you're going to select which video you want to add quiz questions to. Once you've selected the video that you want to add quiz questions to, you're going to go on the right-hand panel down to where it says Edit Quizzes and select Edit Quizzes. You can select whether or not you want the quiz to be a study guide, an assessment, or a scored quiz. There are general settings that you can set here as well. These settings cannot be changed once your video is complete. You would have to re-record your video to change the settings. So you want to make sure that you get this right from the first time. You can add a title for the introduction screen as well as a description. I'll keep all the default information. Once you've proceeded, you can add a quiz. You can give your quiz a title. And then you can start adding questions. Then you want to select which one of your answers is correct. You can also add more potential answers. You can add a description or an image to your question as well. You can also choose between multiple choice, single answer, multiple choice, many answers, or true or false, and how many points this question is worth. Your question has been added to the quiz. Once you're done, click Save. In order to tell MediaSite at which point of the video you want this question to appear, you can select Settings next to the quiz and Position. Then I select Done. Now that we've set at which point of the video we want our question to appear, we want to hit Save again and then preview this video. To create a pizza, there is an orange circle at the 10-second marker. This orange circle means that the quiz is incomplete. If we decide to take the quiz, the circle becomes a green circle, meaning that we've completed the quiz. Once you've completed creating all of your quizzes for this video, you can select Publish to make it viewable back to the students. Another great feature of MediaSite quizzing is that you can view analytics. I'm going to select a video that has a quiz inside of it. Then on the right-hand side, I'm going to select View Analytics. Once I select View Analytics, I'm going to see a tab called Quiz. This quiz tab will give me the quiz results for each student and the grade that they received on the test. You can also select View Details with this eyeball icon to see more specific statistics and details. If you would like to download a full report, you can select Download Report and select either Excel or XML. So this is our website, fau.edu/elearning. And if you go on fau.edu/elearning and you click on Faculty Services and you click on Create Course Media, you will find the services that we offer at COSI. So there's a general overview video here of everything we offer, but if you scroll down, you'll see more specific information. using WebEx and Zoom to record live lectures, using MediaSite. These are all self-service options. And there's a media request form button. You can also select this, Mark, when you want to contact us about working with us. Media request form on fau.edu/e-learning under faculty services, media. And there's examples of studio recordings with just a couple of videos that we have recorded in our studio, just to give you some examples. She's using screenwriting for a math course. And we offer a green screen as well. So this is not an environment she was in. It's a picture that we added using green screen. And on location recordings, we can take our cameras on location to a science lab, to your classroom, or for the hospitality department, we've been on location to different hotels and businesses as well. And when you are planning for your instructional media, you want to think about, does it make sense for me to have an on-location recording? If you're teaching about the Everglades, for instance, it makes sense to go on location to the Everglades and show video of what's actually there, for instance. And that's what will make for good quality video. So Mark says that you clicked on the scenario link, but it's choppy. Is the MediaSite capacity to add assessments user-friendly to faculty? It can be, depending on your knowledge of using the web. But if you have any issues, you can request time with one of our media members, and we will set up a virtual meeting and teach you how to use it. And can we see the results by student of the assessments in detail or in summary form? When you use MediaSite, you can download, I think it's an Excel sheet that tells you how each student answered the question, and gives you specifics on how they did. They're good analytics when using MediaSite.
We do appreciate everyone joining us, and this is a topic that we all need extra guidance with. So thank you, Tanya, for making that happen for us.
Thank you all for being here, and thank you, Dr. Judy.